Hey guys, this is Jadirah Sarmad. Welcome back to my channel. Now, first of all, comment down below if you knew already what Fenty was prior to Rihanna's launch. Well, I did, since I have been such a huge Rihanna fan since I was a child. And some of my favorite songs from back in the day were Umbrella, of course, Shut Up and Drive, Disturbia, Please Don't Stop the Music. So I was actually super excited when I saw that, she was coming up with her own makeup line. Now, obviously, Rihanna is such a huge star already, but I think what made her makeup line to be such a hit was obviously the foundation range that they came up with, and releasing 40 shades at the same time is not easy. And even though I was aware that there are other brands who already have an extensive range, and I think some even have even more than 40 shades as far as I recall, but what made Rihanna stand out the most was the fact that the way they promoted it. And when I first saw her advertisement on Twitter, I was actually really impressed. I have so much love for diversity, and I just really like it when people portray different people and different races. It is just such a beautiful thing. It's so empowering, and I don't think so that a lot of brands, even some really high-end brands, focus on that. So it was actually great that a person of color is coming out with something of the sort and is empowering everyone. I think that was the most beautiful part of the ad campaign. Anyways, so obviously I was eyeing the foundation since the very beginning. There were people who put up reviews as soon as they attended the launch events and stuff like that, which again is something that I want to address. It was actually really good that this beauty line was released in multiple parts of the world at the same time. Sadly, Pakistan was not a part of it. Dear Fenty, please come to Pakistan. We love you. I watched a lot of reviews on YouTube, and the foundation actually seemed quite promising, to be very honest. There were some people who were saying after a while that this is not something suitable for dry skin. Now, I personally do have dry combination skin, so I was a bit skeptical at that point, and I wouldn't have bought the foundation online, to be very honest, because I don't buy base products online. So I had this thing in my mind that I will probably buy it once I am traveling to another part of the world, most likely Dubai or anywhere else. But what actually happened was that one of my blogger friends got this foundation, and she snapped about it, and she said that the shade was darker than her skin tone, so she was willing to sell it. And I just thought that it was a good deal. Anyways, if you are willing to buy this foundation, you can always pre-order on Facebook pages. The Facebook page that my blogger friend got it from was Wake Up and Makeup. I will link it down below. They do not have this in stock currently, but they do take pre-order, so you can pre-order. You can get it for like 5,000 rupees from the page, but is it worth it is what you need to watch the video for. So without further ado, let's just talk about this foundation now. So this is what the packaging looks like. I really like it. It's like, very different, something that I did not expect, you can say. So this is called the Fenty Beauty by Rihanna Pro Filtr Soft Matte Long Wear Foundation. I think that sounds very promising on its own. So what else does the box read? It says that it is a medium to full coverage foundation. It's long wear, light as air, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, so this particular shade is 270, and it reads on the website that this is for medium to tan skin with warm undertones and subtle peach tones. I would agree with that actually, because when I first swatched it, it looked absolutely a perfect match for my skin tone. But since this foundation does dry down to be a couple of shades darker, I could definitely see some, pinky peachy undertones. I personally have like olive undertones, a little bit of yellow, so I would have gone for 290 because that's described as something with neutral olive undertone, and that's the only one that addresses olive. So I would have bought that also because of the fact that my blogger friends in the UK, they were lucky enough to attend the event, and they were really helpful, and they did extensive reviews and stuff like that. Especially I would like to give a shout out to Safia Tasneem. I will link her blog in the description box because she swatched a lot of these foundations for us, and you can definitely check it out to find a shade that would match you. If I were to buy it online myself, I would have gone for 290, but again, I wanted to wait and see it in person and then purchase it. However, this is just what happened, twist in the plot, and I ended up getting 270. I was aware of the fact that this shade can be darker for me, or might be a little different than what I would like. But what I basically thought was that I'm okay with wearing darker foundations, and again, I knew that it would only be like a couple shades darker, so it would work. I can make it work with like highlighting, concealing, everything like that. But to be honest, even if I don't do that, I feel this foundation is pretty okay when it comes to the shade, because even though it does go a little bit darker, my face is actually darker than the rest of my body. I don't know how well you guys can tell that on camera, and I don't know if you can tell right now that this foundation is darker than the rest of my body, but I think it works for me. Anyways, let me give you guys a demo of how this foundation looks when I apply on my skin, and the difference it makes and stuff like that. So let's just move on to that. So I will be applying this foundation on the right side of my face using a beauty blender, and then on the left side of my face I'm using this Sigma Edge Kabuki brush, which is a new dimensional brush. So I already have my orange corrector on to color correct any discolorations, and obviously this foundation alone cannot cover all of that up, so I had to color correct in advance. I used one full pump on each side of my face, and that was pretty much all I needed. This foundation does dry down quite quickly, so you have to work quickly as well and work in smaller portions, but I still feel that it blends out really beautifully. It instantly covers. It does have a medium to full coverage, can be definitely built up, but I just really agree with the fact when it claims that this has a beautiful soft matte finish. Now again, my skin is not particularly dry at the moment, and I do moisturize my face well prior to applying this foundation, so I've had no issues with this foundation feeling dry on my face or anything. It does not feel tight or extremely mattifying. It's actually very nice. Now I have tried a lot of foundations, but I would say that with this particular foundation I've not experienced any oiliness and greasiness even after hours and hours of wear, which is something that I think a lot of people with oily skin would actually appreciate. My skin does not get too oily, but when you wear makeup for too long, your skin can tend to look greasy. I also really love the fact that this foundation helps in smoothing my skin out a little bit. I do have a lot of texture around this area, and the coverage and the finish that this foundation has actually works well for my skin, so I do love that. This foundation does retail for like $34, which I think is expensive. It's definitely a high-end foundation. However, looking at the fact that it's Rihanna, and looking at the fact that some of other celebrity makeup is actually a lot more expensive, I think this is good, and you get like 32 ml of products, which again is quite a lot. So I would say that this foundation is good to go without needing any touch-up for about 6 to 8 hours, depending on your skin type and the kind of activities you carry on. Anyways, I would still say that even after all of those hours, you might need to only slightly touch up in places. I would say that my makeup kind of breaks around this area. It's nothing that looks hideous, but it's something that I would still touch up, and this area in particular, because I have smile lines and I smile a lot, which again I think people won't believe, since they're always like, why do you smile, especially on my Snapchat or Instagram. This did not break me out or did not irritate my skin at all. It does not feel like anything once it's on, which is the most amazing thing. Like, it does not feel cakey even when you build up the coverage. This foundation is said to set itself, so you don't really need a powder. And I don't know what oily skin people would say, but I personally have dry combo skin, like I said, and I definitely don't feel the need to set my face after using this foundation. Anyways, that's it for today from me, guys. If you have any other questions related to this foundation or anything else, just leave them in the comment section below. I will try to answer as many of you guys as possible, and let me know what other video you'd like me to make. And also, would you guys like me to try out more of the Fenty Beauty stuff? Because if you would, I might order like some of the other things like highlighter and stuff. I am thinking to get myself the primer because I did hear some good things about it. So I'll see you next time. Take care of yourselves. Bye.